Most people believe trust is a choice, something you decide after enough time, enough proof, enough reassurance. But trust is rarely built in the present. It is inherited from the past. And if you don't trust anyone now, it's not because you're cold, broken, or incapable of connection. It's because at some point, your system learned that closeness was dangerous. Distrust is not a personality trait. It is a survival response. Long before you could articulate disappointment or betrayal, your nervous system was already paying attention. It was tracking patterns. Who stayed, who left, who said one thing and did another, who listened, and who dismissed what you felt. These early experiences didn't teach you what to think about people. They taught you what to expect from them. If trust was broken repeatedly, especially when you were vulnerable, your mind adapted in the only way it could. It learned to stay alert, to look for inconsistencies, to keep emotional distance as a form of protection. Over time, this vigilance can feel like wisdom, like strength, like independence. But beneath it is often something quieter, fear. Not the obvious kind, not panic, but a constant low-level expectation that people will eventually disappoint you, misuse your openness, or leave once they see too much. When this expectation becomes familiar, distrust feels safer than hope. Because hope carries risk, and risk once hurt deeply. You may notice this in how you relate to others. You share selectively. You test people without realizing it. You wait for the moment they prove you right. And when they do, even in small ways, it confirms an old belief that relying on others leads to pain. What feels like emotional intelligence is often emotional armor. The problem is that armor protects, but it also isolates. Many people who struggle with trust don't lack desire for connection. They long for it. But their body reacts faster than their intentions. When someone gets close, the system tightens. Doubt arises. Motives are questioned. Small changes in tone or behavior feel loaded with meaning. This isn't overthinking. It's pattern recognition, shaped by earlier wounds. Trust issues rarely come from a single betrayal. They are more often the result of inconsistency, of never knowing which version of someone you would get, of learning that safety was unpredictable. In those environments, the mind learns to rely only on itself. Depending on others feels irresponsible, even dangerous. And so, independence becomes identity. But complete self-reliance is exhausting. It requires constant control, constant emotional management. It leaves little room for rest. When you don't trust anyone, you also don't fully relax around anyone. Your nervous system stays alert, scanning for threats that may never come, but once did. Healing trust is not about convincing yourself that people are good. It's about teaching your body that not everyone is the past. This doesn't happen through force or blind vulnerability. It happens slowly, through experiences of consistency, through noticing who respects your boundaries, not who demands access, through learning that trust is not all or nothing, but something built in layers. Distrust once kept you safe. It reduced risk when risk felt unbearable. But the same strategy that protected you can now prevent closeness. And recognizing this is not a betrayal of yourself. It's an evolution. The truth is, you don't distrust everyone equally. You distrust unpredictability. You distrust emotional inconsistency. You distrust the feeling of being unseen or unprotected. When trust was broken early, the system learned to prioritize control over connection. But control is not the same as safety. Real safety comes from knowing You can respond if something goes wrong, that you can set boundaries, that you can leave, that you can protect yourself now in ways you couldn't before. When this knowledge becomes embodied, not just understood, trust stops feeling like a gamble. You don't have to suddenly open up. You don't have to prove anything. Trust is rebuilt, not by taking bigger risks, but by taking more accurate ones. Ones grounded in the present, not dictated by the past. The reason you don't trust anyone is not because something is missing in you. It's because something once taught you that trusting cost too much. And that lesson, while once necessary, does not have to define the rest of your life.